All right, let me get situated real quick. Good to see you all here. All right, so it's 3:30, and we're gonna ease into the evening. Let some folks join in. This has probably been a busy day. I'm sure, like everyone has had a busy day. That's what I assume all the time now. I'm gonna try and get some music going. I have a warm welcome question in the chat that I invite you all to respond to. Welcome to the Code and Play. My name is Ed Campos, and the question is, how did you used to play as a kid? As a youngster, as a youngin, how did you play? What was? Let me see if I can get my music going. Let me know if you can hear music. Can you hear some music now? Yeah. All right. All right, I'm seeing some cool responses right here. Right, a lot of riding bikes. That's why I love the Stranger Things TV show. It just reminds me of riding bikes and going on adventures, right? Isn't that what the Goonies and that homage to all the 80s babies in the house right here? Role playing. I like that. Sonia's a bike rider also. Marbles, Javier. I remember playing for keeps or for funds. I don't know. That's what we used to call them.
Yes. My sisters and I, we put in all the pieces of the wood, and we use the marbles to throw it away. So
yeah,
we made our own games. Yes, it was fun.
Nice. Yeah, playing games outside, right? There was way more play outside, Melissa. I like that. Yeah. It's just we need to be outside. Alicia with the flex, she was saying that she had a fort in the woods. Not all of us had a fort in the woods. I'm pretty jealous about that. Outside from morning until night. I like that. Hands-on sports. With your imaginative play. Oh, I thought you said outside with friends, imaginative play. I thought you said with imaginative, imaginary friends. That's what I thought, Paige. But this is the no judgment zone right here. So if, you know, we had to do what we had to do. I may have played with my imaginary friends during the shutdown, the pandemic, the to cope. So some of the best conversations sometimes.
And they were real friends, but we played pretend.
But they were imaginative. They were very imaginative friends. I got it. Yeah, I like that. Climbing trees in the woods. Where are these woods here, O'Neill? We're marbles and jacks. That's like, yeah. We're gonna bring up the jacks right there. That's with the bouncing ball, right? You bounce them and then scoop them up. I remember that. Oh, the question, let me paste the question again here. Oh, that's not the wrong. That's the wrong. What did you used to play as a kid? So Legos, Polly Pockets. I think I remember that. I dropped that teachable machine with Google. That was a spoiler alert right there. Sorry about that, Rudy. I threw that. I was still on my clipboard. I was trying to Control V in there, and it was. All right. Well, welcome. We're gonna go ahead and get started here. Let me make sure I got my slides set up. Okay, there we go. And then, can you all see my screen share here? Cool. So thanks for answering that question. How's everybody doing? Scale of 1 to 5 today. How we feeling? Like energy level 5 is feeling excellent. If your battery's drained, you're 1, maybe right here. If you're on a 0, but hopefully we get some of that energy back up in there because we're gonna have some playtime. Not a whole lot of me talking because nobody wants to hear me talk, but a lot of playtime, a lot of let the brain relax. With a lot of artificial intelligence. That's kind of going to be our theme for today. We have 3 rooms for you to choose from to play around with some. We do this code and play house party, CS party. Thank you to the 90s and thank you to Kid and Play for inspiring the graphic here for our CS house party. Which actually I just realized they're rebooting the movie. If anybody's familiar with the movie House Party, but they're rebooting it with, I think they're doing the house party in LeBron James' house is what I know about the like some people that know LeBron or something, but I'm gonna watch it for sure. All right, and what we like to do is we like to play around because there's not enough play these days, right? Thank you for dropping those play memories in there. Let me hit up. I'm going to introduce you to 2 of our instructors I'm just a host today. My name is Ed Campos, and I'll introduce you to 2 of our instructors. Our third breakout instructor is going to be joining us a little later. But I want you to introduce yourselves and then tell us how you used to play as a kid, okay? And then I'll finish off. So we've got a Rudy and then Voki. Did I pronounce your name right, Voki? And I'm going to hand it to Rudy first, and then let's go to Voki, and then I'm going to hand it back to me.
All right, thank you, Ed. So my name is Rudy Escobar. I'm a STEM and Computer Science Coordinator for Stanislaus County Office of Education. And when I played, I used to like to play outside, but I would take everything apart. So from a bicycle to a computer to whatever I had in front of me, a TV, I would take it apart and then try to put it back together.
Nice. So you're MacGyver, right? You're like
I was wanting to, hopefully. Some extra screws every once in a while.
All right, Voki.
Hi, everyone. My name is Voki Ogwe. I'm speaking to you from Houston, Texas. But anyway, one of the things I used to do as a kid was just role play. I used to enjoy, we had this big tree outside my house. I grew up in Nigeria, and I would come outside and we'll gather up some friends and we were like 4, 5, 6, and I would play teacher. We would play all different kinds of things. We would play cook with little tin containers. And then another thing I really did like was climbing a tree with my brother. My cousins, most of them are boys, so we always spent a lot of time together and we're always competing. So I think for me, anything that's new, that is exciting, I'm adventurous. So I think those are the things I like to play and be around people that I love.
Nice. Thank you. Thank you. And so Sean Glantz is our third breakout room instructor. He's going to be joining us probably closer to 4. So I'm going to be try and substitute for Sean, which there is no substitute for Sean. But the way I used to play, I played a lot of basketball. I basically always had a basketball, always shooting hoops. I had a basketball outside of over my garage, always dribbling a ball to school. Sometimes baseball in the street because we didn't really live near a park, right? The street baseball, your street football, a lot of bike riding. So that was a lot of the play. And then if you take it back, like I forgot about the marbles because I used to get down with some marbles. The marbles, and then So we're gonna play today, and I want to tell you a little bit about the flow for today. We have so I'm on the West Coast in California. It's a dry day today. We're doing all right. How you doing, Rudy? In your area? No.
We are getting very wet. We just had like 30-mile winds right now, and we've been pretty hard.
All right. Be safe. Be safe up there. I'm in Central California, so near Fresno, and I've been, I don't know, I think there's like a dome protecting where I'm at because there's been some people hit nearby, but not, I'm knock on wood, not necessarily where I'm at. So we have about an hour and a half, about an hour 15 now to play. So I'm just going to be talking for the next like 10 minutes or so, and then we'll get you into some breakout rooms, but you're going to spend the majority of the time in a breakout rooms of your choice between one of our 3 breakout room facilitators. And then we'll come back. We'll spend like this 15-20 minutes in the front end, about an hour or so playing, creating, discussing, and then about 15 minutes to kind of wrap it up and share out anything that you created, share out anything that you learned or some, aha, epiphany or whatever. So that's kind of that's going to be the closing huddle, right? If we think about this as a team that plays, right? So there's a lot of benefits to play. I like to show this slide because I feel like, especially as we're professionals, right? Like we think about all the joy that we had as playing. There's you can also have a lot of learning while you play, right? Like play has significant impact on learning. When you have choice, when there's low stakes of failure, it can improve relationships, right? Relieve your stress because it's kind of low stakes, it's not as rigid, and help develop your social skills. So there's a lot of benefits of play. So we're going to get to it. We're going to have a 2-minute drill, basically 1 minute, where each of our, let me skip this line. I always keep getting to that. You're going to have 3 rooms to choose from that you're going to go into. And the decisions might be hard, but don't worry that all of these decisions or all of these rooms are going to be recorded. So if you choose one and just want to stick with it, and then you want to wait for the email to get the recording for the others, that works too. So, but we are, giving of our time, and we have our amazing facilitators are giving of their time. And nobody takes anything to heart. So if you're in a session, you're like, hey, this is cool, but I wanted to try that other one out too. Like, hey, you can jump out of that breakout room, try another one. Like, feel free to use your time and play. Pick up your ball and take your ball where you want to go play, right? Or if you just want to say, hey, I got this, and then I played enough, and you got to exit early, we're cool with that too. So do what you got to do. We have Mr. Rudy Escobar, who's going to be doing the teachable machine with Google. Voke, how do you pronounce your last name, Voke?
Ogwe.
Voke Ogwe doing an hour of AI with MIT App Inventor. And then the amazing Sean Glantz doing maybe ChatGPT, because I'm looking at the website right now, it's kind of getting slammed, overloaded, but we might have a last minute substitution activity, because I'm going to be kicking us off with that. So if you don't know what that is, that's okay, because you're going to have a little spiel from each of our coaches, or those are the facilitators, who are going to try and recruit you to go to pick their cap, right? To go to their room. And they're going to get 1 minute to tell you 1 minute and 1 slide to tell you about what they're going to be doing in there, what the grade level appropriateness is, and why you should come to their breakout room session. Okay, kind of because I might not know what Teachable Machine is, I might not know what MIT App Inventor is, and then maybe I don't have internet access, so I don't know what Chat GPT is, and I haven't seen that because that's ever. But that sound good? All right. So we're gonna get started, and I forget who was first. I think
Rudy.
is Rudy. Okay, Rudy, you're first. I'm gonna be the timer, so I have my. We're pretty strict on the timing around here with Code and Play. You know, it's a CSTA policy that, you know, so you're gonna have 1 minute. I'm gonna put 1 minute on the clock, and you're gonna have 1 minute to sing for your supper. Okay. And you can't see my phone, but trust me, there's a minute there. All right, you ready, Rudy?
I'm ready.
Any
You guys put
questions
my
so far?
slide? You guys put my slide?
Yep, there you go.
All right, so I'm ready. So if you haven't done anything with Teachable Machine, if you ever wonder how computers can recognize images, sounds, or movement, this is a session to come and join us. We're going to engage with Teachable Machine, and we're going to create some machine models. I'm going to talk to you a little bit about how Teachable Machine works with different things, but we're only going to do image recognition. There's no coding experience to do with Teachable Machine, but I'm also going to give you a model of a friend of mine that she's built for P5.js, which if you don't know anything about Java, that's okay, because you'll have the code that you can start with. Or if you are a Java expert, you're going to be able to go beyond what we can do with Teachable Machine. So you're going to have the opportunity to play with that. Perfect timing.
Nice.
Perfect. 15 seconds left. Do you give your time to?
I'll give it to both.
All right. All right. Good. All right. Good job. Thank you. All right. Next.
Okay, first, I'm gonna say if you and I changed my background to say to have the moon because recently the Artemis mission to the moon was equipped with Alexa. So this is talking about real time relevant and technology. But the cool thing is that we had Project STEM and a few other curriculum makers work with Amazon to put this nice little hour of AI to introduce students to create a way to get Alexa to learn a skill. So the reason for this is that if you have ever used Alexa or you have Alexa devices in your house, you can get a teacher account that allows you to have an Amazon developer account so that you can actually send skills to your physical device. But for this session, all you'll be doing within the session is to see just how it works. Like normally with traditional coding, you have to create all the possible cases or all the possible ways you could possibly ask Alexa to do something and then get it to respond. But here it teaches. Oh, I'm done. 60 seconds. All right. Okay.
At the buzzer. Nice. I like it. And this is, so with the MIT App Inventor, because these are apps that you can code and put on your phone, right? Okay.
Well, it depends if it's the Alexa app, but it's more like the Alexa device, like the Echo Dot or the Echo Show, things like that.
Oh yeah, well, that's fascinating. Thank you for that. All right, so Sean Glantz is not here from Sacramento, but he volunteered to talk. I'm going to give myself a minute, all right, to do talk about Chat GPT, because Sean actually introduced Chat GPT to me a while back. How many of y'all have used Chat GPT yet? Okay, so if not, man, it would be awesome to do it. It's the most mind-blowing AI right now. You need to learn about it. This is one of the main reasons I wanted to do an AI focus today. But it's basically a conversational bot tool, and you can use it to answer your questions, search large databases. You can ask it to create essays, do comparisons, write poetry about certain topics for you. One question we asked it is write, the definition of a rap about computational thinking in the form of Drake or something like that, and it'll have Drake style and create the lyrics. Like the potential is limitless for this, but because the potential is limitless, like everybody is on it. So that's my time. And yesterday I started seeing that ChatGPT is at capacity right now. So we're gonna start off trying to get in there. I don't think it's gonna work because I've been trying sporadically throughout the day and it's not working. But it's funny that I'm going over my time here, but I'm explaining are the judges okay? Rudy, okay? We're okay with the judging? So it's funny that the error message on the ChatGPT website has this, like, it's at capacity. We'll let you know, write an acrostic poem about the status of ChatGPT, and that this is the type of response that ChatGPT would have. I thought that was pretty fascinating. So we'll wait for the homie Sean Glantz to come in. Maybe he's got the back door, or something, or he's got a tab already open. I don't know if he can still get in because I messed up and closed my tab. If not, what I'm gonna, because that's an application of AI, I threw a backup plan in here because another great tool that's using AI is Canva. I don't know if y'all use Canva lately. Have you used Canva? But Canva's added some really nice AI tools to it. And I was thinking, at least before Sean gets here, if ChatGPT is not working, we could mess around with Canva. Like, Canva is a beautiful design tool for free that lets you design things. And they have an AI image feature where you can type in a photo that you want. Let's say you can't find the stock photo that you're looking for, and you type in a photo of a magical forest city from the future, and it'll give you that image. But then there's also text AI that they just added too. So there's two pieces of AI that we could play around with in the breakout room to get started and see the application, because I use Canva all the time, and I would be learning alongside you because I just started learning about the AI features in Canva as well. I think there's a lot of potential for this too. So, and I don't think I put
So are you able to record some of these so that we can pretty much, like, find out, because I'm really interested in Canva one as well. So.
Oh yeah. So I'm just gonna ask that. Let me introduce Dr. Bashir. Dr. Bashir here. Dr. Bashir is our CSTA host. Maybe if he's away from his computer, but. And do you want to introduce yourself?
Sure, I can. Hello, everyone. My name is Dr. Daquan Bashir. I am one of the professional learning managers for CSTA. I'll be here in the background. This is Ed Shell. I'm just going to let him and the other leaders do their thing. But nice to meet you all.
And so thank you, Dr. Bashir, for hosting, opening up the Zoom for us. And then, so we're going to get 3 breakout rooms going on for about, I think we do 45 minutes, I think. Let's do 45 minutes. You want me to do that? I can do that, right?
Currently doing it right now.
Okay. And then I think as long as we make, I'm just going to make sure to make Rudy and Voke co-hosts, and then I'm just going to request that you each record your breakout session. Would that be okay? Within. And we'll do Rudy in breakout room 1, Voke in breakout room 2, and then I'll jump in breakout room 3.
All right, opening now.
All right, choose wisely, and then remember what I said. If like you're in there and you know that it's going to be recorded, you want to jump to another, everybody's totally cool with that too. All right, we'll see you soon.
Are you making us co-host?
Oh yeah, Dr. Bashir can. Yep.
Thank you.
Which one is the App Inventor one?
That's room 2.
Okay, that's what I thought. Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. And then Dr. Bashir, if Sean Glantz is the third instructor, and he told me he might be here about 4:10. So if you just put him in breakout room 3, and then he'll tag me in.
He's actually here right now.
Oh, okay.
Hey, how we doing, Ed?
My dude, pretty good, Sean. How you doing, my brother?
All right, doing good.
Hey, so I did a little. The folks are in the breakout rooms right now, and
Cool.
I gave them a little pitch. I wasn't sure. I've been trying Chat GPT today, but it said it's at capacity. Have you been dealing with that?
It's down. Well, I'm not sure. It's either I haven't been able to access it, and I'm not sure if it's down. I think it's down, or then also I think my district blocked it this week. So I'm at school right now, so I can't access it, which is sweet irony, right? Of like,
Yeah.
but
well, I'll jump into that one. Go ahead.
Oh yeah, I was just gonna say, like, if that's the case, if, you know, I thought we'd ask other people that are there if they can get on it, and then we can just screen share and use it. And if not, I've got some videos, some articles, and some things that like we could like talk about it still, and some slides, but it's not really the whole play theme.
Yeah. So I told them I had a backup plan because I was realizing it a little while ago, and I looked at, they have some AI features that they added to Canva, the design tool. They have a text feature, and so I figure I'll jump in that room with you, and then you can talk a little bit more about it, how you used it. I think, like, you know, and some of the questions you've asked it, because a lot of people don't know about it.
Yeah.
But then and then we can have them choose or whatever, see what they want to do.
Yeah, another option too would be, you know, what is working is Dolly, which is really good, right? That's the image generation. So we can play with that and have a good time. And I mean, that's similar, right?
Oh yeah, let's jump in there and give them some options.
Cool. Which one am I in? 1 or 2? 3.
Should be 3. Yep.
Room 3. Okay, cool. Did I make it?
Hmm. Oh, there we go. Join breakout room.
Hello, if you're just arriving, everyone's in breakout rooms, exploring different topics related to this month's Code and Play. So you can just choose whichever breakout room you want to join and explore further.
Hey, thank you. I appreciate that. I was having computer problems on my end. It took me forever to get on here.
Gotcha. Would you want to choose, or would you like for me to assign you to a room?
You can just assign me to one. I'd be perfectly fine with that.
Okay. Hey, Sean, are you there?
Hey everyone, welcome back. Sorry about that. Thought we were gonna have about 5 more minutes to play in there, but I think we're back early. Does anyone need like 5 more minutes to play around in there? Or are we good to share out some? Is that a good amount of time to have some play time? Yeah, well, it might take too much time to put us in the breakout rooms again and get us back out. So maybe we can have a couple of 1 or 2 folks, maybe if our facilitators can recommend like 1 or 2 people to share screen and share something that they played around with, or okay. Do you have anyone in your room from your room that you want to volunteer? I've learned that we got a voluntold. The word voluntold, sometimes you don't volunteer, you get voluntold to share out. Sometimes. Is there anybody would like to be voluntold?
Hey, Betty, would you like to go? Or Alicia?
Was it Betty? Betty was muted.
Oh, Betty's, you're on mute, that's why.
I said I was sending you another message in the chat, but we did a lesson on Alexa, and I think that my students would find this interesting. I don't have the Alexa in my classroom, but I do have the Google Mini, and so I think interchangeable using it in a lesson would be really fun for them. So we'll use it with the emulator and see how it works. But I was going to send you one more message, Voki. I'm sending it now.
All right, okay.
I think it would be like to introduce this. I think I would program some intents and utterances and kind of use the shock, like, tell me about John, and then just have Alexa start talking about all the different students to kind of pique the, like, how did you do that? I want to do that. They're kind of a show me group, and then they get excited. So I'm excited to be able to do that with my own Alexa, and then kind of pique their interest to get them to code.
So do we mind just showing, do we have like a minute for them to just show something?
Oh yeah, yeah. Share screen. Does someone want to share screen
and just
demo
say the Alexa one, even if it's just so we did just one, only one of the missions we were able to do. I had some problems starting, but so here is the Amazon Echo Dot. And so what they were saying was, so I don't know if, I guess I'm sharing sound, but I'm going to say something like, Alexa, greet the moon.
Sorry, I don't know about that. Please try again.
And this is common. If it does that, it's just going to need some more examples to be able to learn, which is what AI does, right? So there are different ways to ask it to say something or do something. And so you don't even have to program every single utterance that you're going to use. But let me just do one more. Alexa, say hi to the moon.
Sorry, I don't know about that.
It caught me saying one more. So one more time. Alexa, say hello moon.
Sorry, I don't know about that. Please
Okay.
try again.
Alexa, say hi to the moon.
Hello, moon.
Okay, so finally, that worked the magic. So it did say that, and whatever it's saying or whatever the intent it's saying is designed already somewhere down here in your block. It's only one intent it's expecting to do, but there are many ways to ask it to do it. So that was our lesson, one of our lessons. Finally.
That's awesome. Thank you for that. Your dot is talking away right now, Monica. That's funny. Rudy, do you have someone that would like to share out?
I don't like to put people on the spot, but
Okay.
we've had some participants. So we had Sonia had said that she did a really good one. So Sonia, I don't know if you want to share. We had Misty, we had Monica, Colleen.
I'll share right quickly. He gave us the website for Teachable Machines, and the assignment that I used, the example that I used, was identify a square or a round, a circle. And I held up this candle and identified this as round, and it took 100 pictures of that, some a little bit to the left, some a little bit to the right, and I was trying to get my hand out of here and holding it like that. And then the square example I had was this mouse pad. And then I put a class 3 as other and just held up a random object. And then I tested it to see if it would identify the square or the round, excuse me, with the other. And the students need to know, well, is it correct? They need to know their circles and squares and so forth. And so when I held up the candle the first time, it identified it right away because it's just comparing two pictures. But on the bottom, it's a little bit different. See, there's 2 stickers. Obviously, it was on sale or I wouldn't have bought it. So I didn't know if it would pick up that there's a difference right there, but it picked this up right away. Well, then I held up another little circle ball and held it way out here. It picked that up and identified it. But this one it had trouble with. This is a soft drink lid. And it had trouble with this. I'm not sure if it's the words or because it's so small. But anyway, I had to hold it really, really close. But it finally was able to identify it. And I had a lot of fun doing that. Thank you, Rudy, for teaching us that lesson.
Sonia, are you able to share screen? Could you show us how yours is working?
I already closed it out because
okay.
the camera was on and I was freaking out a little.
Yeah.
I wanted my
No.
Zoom camera on for this part.
Oh, yeah. No worries. Yeah, and how easy was Teachable Machine to do that? Because I love, like, you just...
Oh, I did that lesson in just a few minutes because I had to do it several different times. The first time I did class as round, and that was the default. So I changed it to where the first class was other, so that no matter what if I wasn't holding up anything, it was identifying it as other. And then when I held up something, it identified as round or square. Somebody said color. I didn't ask it to identify the color, but I imagine it probably would. Rudy could answer that one.
Yeah, I can do it as long as we can train the model to recognize that color. It will recognize it.
Well, I was just thinking that maybe it was only identifying red circles. So it was confused when you put a green circle. You know what I mean?
Oh, did you have to give it more?
Right. Because it was only taught to recognize that red.
And it's possible because the example that I showed everybody, when I did it the first time, my Apple was taking the side of my glasses. So I kept on recognizing my glasses as part of the Apple. So that's one of the things about image recognition, that the model has to really be trained on that.
Oh yeah.
I really like that because I did, just being able to give it multiple examples that don't even look like it, but if it is really, really important with AI, is just the more good samples you have to work with, or even the more it can learn from it.
Right, especially with facial recognition, right? I mean, I think there's what's the documentary?
Code Bias.
Coded Bias.
Coded Bias is a really good documentary about the bias in technology and artificial intelligence, especially when it comes to facial recognition, because if you only have one subset of the population, they're using facial features and this data set that's just one set of facial features, right? So it's totally biased against non-white males. I mean, mainly, and then there's the impact of that is when you have when there's police and arrests happening based on facial recognition and things like that. When it comes, there's a great website. I don't know if you all have seen it, called AIforall.org, and they have tons of free lessons on artificial intelligence related to different industry, to music, to criminal justice system, when it comes to law, when it comes to sports and things like that. So it's really fascinating. Free resources. I'll paste those that resource in the chat. But let me ask. Did she leave? Paige, is Paige still here? Paige, would you mind?
Yeah.
Could I volunteer you to share out and maybe share screen about some of the, because we did get to play with some Chat GPT.
Yeah, sure, I'll share my screen.
Thank you.
Okay, and let me just make it bigger. All right, so what we did was we asked ChatGPT some questions. We asked it to write a poem about algorithms in the style of Mary Had a Little Lamb. We didn't say them, we cleared it out. What we still had up on the screen was what are some concerns people have about ChatGPT, and it gave us some responses. The thing that we found out, or that I noticed that I hadn't known before, was that you can't ask it anything after 2021. So it has limitations, because I don't know if any of you have followed Jeff Beck and his career, but he recently passed. So I had asked about that, and ChatGPT could not answer. It did give me some information about Jeff Beck, who's like the #5 guitarist of all time, but couldn't give me any information about his death. So if anybody has anything, any burning questions, let me know. We did put in some book study questions that Ed is assigning to his students. So if anybody has anything of interest, I can pop it in the chat. Anybody?
Paige,
No?
can you scroll through? Can you scroll to the top to see some of the?
We
other
don't have it.
questions
We
Oh.
cleared it out. Yeah, we
Cleared it.
cleared it. So they're all gone.
Oh yeah, maybe have it write a poem or write a song again.
Okay. Home and oh, this one looks pretty good. I don't know if anybody can you see it? Should I make it a little bit larger?
It looks good to me.
Down a little bit. I think an English teacher would give this a good grade.
Yeah, and we had it, one of the book study that I'm facilitating with some educators. I've been trying to think about questions, and it gave a pretty good summary of that. You can ask it to write code, right? Write a write a tic-tac-toe program in Java or something like that, and it'll.
So you said that the ChatGPT will write a code in Java?
It's doing it right now.
Okay.
It actually can write it in any language. You can actually ask
Mhm.
for any language.
Okay.
The nice thing
And
is.
it
I've
doesn't always
seen-
work,
Oh, okay.
but it's pretty good.
I've seen some teachers, or students even putting in their code and asking it to debug it.
Hmm.
Mm,
You can also ask it to generate code with bugs in it for your students to debug.
Okay.
If you need some
oh,
answers.
that's a
kinda cool.
brilliant. Yeah.
Wow, that's cool.
Yeah. Ed, can you put the links, put the link to that video, that John Spencer video? That was awesome. And
yeah.
Sean's slides.
Yeah, so here's this is a one tab link here, but it has like 6 or 7 links, and it has Sean's slides, a video that you could kind of get, a nice animated video
Okay.
about AI. And then I also included some of the Canva AI. We didn't get to play around with that too much, but I think it's really cool. And I included the 2 links to the Canva, the magic text AI feature that they have now, and then the AI image feature. Yeah, and we'll email it.
I just want to jump in and clarify too. The slides are not mine. Those were created by Dr. Tori Trust at University of Massachusetts Amherst. She published them under Creative Commons license and is like continually updating them. So I just want to definitely make sure credit is given. It's an incredible resource, and there's lots. She's linking to new articles because things are just happening so fast in the AI space.
Awesome. Well, I hope how was your playtime today? I wanna check in with folks. Was that a decent time? Like nice little brain friendly space, right? We don't need it to be totally structured. I will be sending out an email tomorrow with the recordings and with some of these resources there. And then I want to plant this seed that if you have something cool that you'd like to facilitate a code and play room the next time, it's not always AI focused, but it could be some awesome activity that you do with your students. Please let me know, reply back to the email. And, we're always looking for new presenters. And also the goal of this, CSTA's goal with running these sessions is to share this model with all of the affiliate members, so that if you like this kind of model, you could facilitate a code and play in your region. So we're in the process of building a website that has all the resources, like the Google slide template, the previous code and play recordings, so that you can go in there, get caught up on something and facilitate one. Me and my colleague, Catherine Goya, we facilitated one in person, and it was pretty cool. We invited kids to it. So the educators brought their kids. They were playing around with some coding some video games, and everybody shared out. We got some coffee, we got some snacks. So the goal is to share and just, we need play more now more than ever, especially after the last 3 years that we've had. So just kind of plant those seeds about be a potential facilitator. We'd love to have you. And then how can you bring this to your region, right? With your CSTA chapter. So if you loved anything that Voke, Rudy, or Sean shared, take it. You're gonna have the recording, modify whatever, and then just kind of get some play going on in your region. So, all right.
Thank you all so much.
All right, we're gonna leave.
Thank
Bye.
you.
Bye.
Everybody.
We gotta leave with this song. The Kid and Play song.
Feels good.
Don't hurt nobody out there.
Thank you, everybody.
Bye. Thank you.
Thanks all.